we're potentially looking at some very big business here. Speaking of big business, GW has recently struck an arrangement, shall we say, with a rather large, well-known pharmaceutical company, Bayer Pharmaceuticals, and like many of the other large pharmaceutical companies, Bayer has, you know, a bit of a rap sheet, you know, looking at, you know, or a dark past, shall we say. And without getting into the details of, you know, Bayer's history, do you feel that there is, are you concerned at all about this venture of GW and Bayer working together?
Not at this time. I would say in all honesty that my dealings with both companies to date have been very cordial. People I've dealt with have been very aware of all the issues and very sensitive to people's concerns. So I personally don't have reason to be worried at this time.
Great. Are you familiar with the term biopiracy?
I believe so.
So we have, you know, in recent history, you know, different pharmaceutical companies have tried to patent things like the ayahuasca vine and the neem tree and the willow bark, I believe, or willow herb it's called. There are, you know, concerns that people in the activist community have around cannabis becoming people basically trying to patent specific strains of cannabis. Fundamentally speaking, what do you believe personally about natural products, natural things like plants, falling under corporate patent?
Well, I don't believe that they should be under corporate patent, and in fact, GW's strains are not patented. Rather, the extracts and the processes of delivery may well be. So this is a different kind of intellectual property in comparison, but I know that in relation to what you mentioned, the attempt to patent the ayahuasca plant, there were terrible repercussions from that. Basically, all ethnobotanical research in the Amazon virtually shut down as a result of that, so it is counterproductive. I personally don't believe that there should be patents on natural products like plants. It certainly would be possible that a company that genetically engineered a plant would get a patent, as is done with some seed strains. Seeds from burpee, for example, are patented. But
do you personally feel that that's ethical, even if a plant is genetically modified in a laboratory,
well,
for it to become subject to a patent?
There are really several questions there, but if I could break it down, no, I don't think that you should be able to patent corn. If there's something different about the corn, perhaps, but I don't personally believe in genetic engineering, and I would emphasize that there's been no genetic engineering of GW's products. It isn't necessary. The genetic capabilities of cannabis are so vast that using standard Mendelian genetic breeding techniques, you can produce almost anything you'd want if you have the skill to do it. And this is what's happened to date. I'd mentioned that in addition to the high THC and high CBD strains, there's an effort now to look at some minor cannabinoids that really have some potential capabilities that are phenomenal. So I think that this is a pipeline that doesn't have 1, 2, or even 3 products at the end of it, but may have many. So I think that we're going to learn a lot about what this plant can do.
Okay, my final question for you. Tell us about your new hypothesis that is going to be published in the, what is it, the Neuroendocrinology Journal?
Letters, yes.
Yes. Tell us about that.
Well, this is a theory I've had for some years. There are numerous very difficult to treat disorders, such as migraine, fibromyalgia, and irritable bowel syndrome, where available pharmaceuticals just don't always seem to work very well. whereas patients report that cannabis works oftentimes very nicely for them. What I have hypothesized is that certain people who have one or more of these conditions, because often they're comorbid, they occur in the same people, that they may have what I call a clinical endocannabinoid deficiency. And I guess I should explain that. But endocannabinoids are natural products in our nervous systems that affect pain and regulate a number of other important functions. That's how cannabis works. It works on receptors that we have naturally, and we have these natural endogenous from within compounds where they work. So if someone had low levels of endogenous cannabinoids, they would be predisposed to certain pain conditions, which would include the three I mentioned: migraine, irritable bowel syndrome, and fibromyalgia, as well as a variety of other diseases. So we'll see if this picks up any traction, so to speak, in the scientific world.
I'm looking forward to that. Thank you so much for your time today, Ethan.
Thank you for having me.
Glad to have you.
Just sliding when your heart puts on the juice. Comes a headache, you can lose it in a day. Comes a toothache, call your dentist right away. But comes love, nothing can be done. Comes love, nothing can be done.
What's going on?
Comes love, nothing can be done.
I have a moment. I would like to